business, we'll bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
We go to Seattle, where all eyes were on following Balogun yesterday, and while the US men's national team striker did make the start against Belgium after his suspension was lifted, it was the Belgians who showed up and steamrolled the Americans. Charles de Ketelaere's 2 goals and assists paved the way for the 4-1 win for Belgium. Mauricio Pochettino's squad paid the price for multiple defensive errors, with Tim Ream and Matt Freese among the guilty parties on a night where there weren't many bright spots in the worst US World Cup knockout round loss since 1930. So now 6 nations are through to the quarterfinals. France will be facing Morocco next Thursday. After Belgium's win last night, they're now facing Spain in the quarterfinals. On Saturday in Miami, Norway will be facing England, and depending on tonight's result, it will be either Argentina or Egypt versus Switzerland or Colombia. Good morning and happy Tuesday, everyone. It's day 27 of the World Cup. 6 nations have booked their places in the quarterfinals, with 2 more round of 16 matches coming up today. So with that, everybody, welcome into Morning Footy. 48 nations presented by Enterprise. This tournament, every corner kick goal is your chance to win a car. I'm your host, Hannah Cash, alongside Marco Messina, Michael Lahoud and Janelli Farias. Guys, how are we doing? World Cup feels like it's nearly coming to an end, doesn't it, Janelli?
When you said day 27, I was like, we were watching football for 27 days straight, non-stop. Like, man, it's been overwhelming but exciting.
And Nico's still on an RV somewhere. Still got a long way to go.
I know.
It's just disappointing because it ends for the U.S. Today, of course. But there's still a lot of good football. We'll break it down and see what we saw last night. I think we'll have some choice words for the team, but still an unbelievable tournament, regardless of now all host nations actually gone.
Yeah,
Janelli. Come on.
You know what? I'm sad for Mexico, but I'm really proud about the way that they went out. They went out putting up a fight. There's no question, there's no doubt about their character, about their personality, about the identity that Mexico has now, and that's something to be proud of.
Best of the home nations, you think?
Oh, 100%.
What do you think?
Okay, I agree. I agree.
Look, I think I want to echo what everyone said so far, but if you are a soccer fan, which I think there's a lot of people that's tuned into our network are becoming, if they weren't already, this is what the World Cup really dials into. You get to see the real stars, right? You think of your Kylian Mbappe's, your Lionel Messi's, who will be playing today, James Rodriguez. So disappointment for the U.S., but there's still a lot to play for, and a lot I can't wait to watch today.
Yeah, definitely. So we start about talking about the US versus Belgium yesterday. Belgium knocked the US out in the 2014 World Cup. Have now been knocked out in the 2026 World Cup. Marco, yesterday, was it a bad night for the US, or was it this US side coming up a decent level team?
For me, they finally played a team that was good. And this is a Belgium side that I haven't been impressed with Belgium for years now. I think they had a golden generation that didn't match the level. But I think once USA played a team that actually had good attacking players, technical players, want to control the ball, you saw that they can't punch above their weight. They can't beat a team that's above them. Started the game with no composure, looking scared, couldn't make 2 passes. The midfield was completely outrun. And then it's the first time that they go down in a match in the World Cup, and then they don't have the character to get back. They make it 1-1. Their only chances was really on set pieces, had a few moments maybe at the beginning of the second half, but it was not a good showing, to Janelli's point. At least some of the other teams, Mexico, they went out with a fight. I think for me, the most disappointing thing is I am not surprised that Belgium knocks USA out, not at all. But it's the way that they went out that I think leaves a bitter taste in our mouth that they can't go past the round of 16.
Yeah, look, Marco, I'm glad you went first because I actually can get into my woosah and get into my meditative state because I was pissed. And I think U.S. soccer fans should be pissed seeing what we saw. I'm going to cut through the BS. They got embarrassed, not just on national TV. They got humiliated on international TV. So every single person in the world just saw what we saw everything you saw. And ahead of the game, I thought Mauricio Pochettino, he set out his stall. And before the match, he said that we want to make it and reach a semifinal of the World Cup. In order to do that, you have to dream. He went from dreaming to living his worst nightmare. Watching how the team started, Belgium played with an intensity and an intent that the U.S. players looked rattled, they looked shell-shocked, and the best thing that could have happened was the hydration break, because the Malik Tillman goal comes in and around that time. And we've seen it before where teams at the World Cup, they start poorly. England was one of them against DR Congo. They get to the hydration break, and then some of the nerves, some of the wiser heads take over. It was as if, as soon as they got the goal, they thought they were back in the game, and Belgium kept hitting to another gear. And this was worrying for me to see against another European country. And no, Bosnia is not the level. And I know that a lot of Bosnians watch our shows, so this is not a dig at Bosnian fans, but Bosnia is not the level that the U.S. should be comparing itself to. Because when you look at the track record against European teams, the only two teams they've beaten in the last 16 times they played the European team has been Bosnia.
But also a semifinal is not something to compare it to. That's a complete pipe dream to think that you could get to a semifinal.
Jenny, what did you think of yesterday?
I think the biggest thing that stands out for me is now that I like kind of zoom out and really process the game is there was a complete lack of leadership and individual responsibility. I think you don't need the captain's armband to step up in a moment like that when your team needs somebody to guide you out of those difficult moments. And I don't recall any moment where somebody was like, brought the team together or was even like, come on, like lifting each other up, or you know what, especially for Tim Ream, he had a lot of mistakes last night. And it's difficult when you're the captain and you're expected to not make any mistakes. But in that moment, and I've been in that situation before, being the captain of a team and making a mistake that's determining the game, and nobody's been there to help lift me up. And I think he needed that in that moment. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're humans before we're football players, and it doesn't matter who you are on the field or how big you are, you need that. And there was nobody on this U.S. side to be that person for them. So it doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter the quality that you have, it doesn't matter the team that you play on. We all need that at some moment, especially when your team is down by 2 or by 3. And I was really hoping to see that out of Pulisic, out of McKinney, and I don't think anybody did that. And what does that mean for the U.S. moving forward? You can't just be playing on a big team and think that that's enough. You need to take that responsibility and make something of it. It was very difficult to watch. As a football fan, it was very difficult to watch just mistake after mistake, and it was just in the little details for them.
Also, we waited so long. We've been talking about this buildup of playing a tournament on home soil, playing a World Cup on home soil. So to not get past the round of 16. And I think the bigger thing is it was a reality check. It was a reality check that USA is far from the level of actually competing. To be in the top 8, because they would have moved on from the quarterfinals, they're far from being in the top 8 of football. And a lot of it does come down to the group. The best national teams in the world, they form that group. They get up in the big moments. We had our worries defensively. Coming into the tournament, what was the conversation? It was, how is USA going to be when they have to play against really good teams, attacking players? How's the defense going to look? How's the goalkeeper going to look? We got those answers now once they played a team that was ranked above them in the rankings.
Well, everybody, today we are live on YouTube, so you can comment down below all your thoughts and opinions. We'll be getting to them. One comment we've already had this morning is layup for Belgium.
Layup.
I think that's
too much talk. Too much talk from the USA perspective.
You think so?
Too much. For me, I mean, the team has to do what they have to do, but we have to also remember where USA actually is. It's not just you beat Australia, you beat Bosnia. You have to beat big teams if we want to be able to talk and keep us in contention.
Yeah. Another comment here. US men's national team faltered under pressure. Pulisic didn't even break a sweat. Ream got dunked on. Freese kicked the ground instead of the ball. Should we talk about this golden generation then, Lahu? Do you think they've missed their chance now?
Yeah, before we get to that, I really want to hit on something that Marco touched on about the round of 16, because I think the golden generation chat is something that is a just massive, bigger picture thing. But the round of 16, this has become a bit of a habit, and we've witnessed it covering the game. You've witnessed it as well, covering this beautiful game. There's this psychological thing, this psychological roadblock for the U.S. men's national team when it comes to this. And I'm going to be frank, when they come up against some of the big boys have gone belt to ass against the U.S. men's national team. They have taken off the belt like Michael Irving did for the University of Miami this past year when it came to college football, and they went, this cannot continue because this was supposed to change under Mauricio Pochettino. And what I saw, and you went through every single one of those players, what I saw in that game was, from a psychological standpoint, they crumbled under the pressure. And for me, I saw the pendulum swing momentum-wise because looking at some of the performers on the pitch today, Christian Pulisic was a ghost. Tyler Adams was pedestrian, and Tyler Adams is part of the engine room for the U.S. Men's national team. Weston McKennie was getting bodied by Nicholas Raskin, who I thought was outstanding, by the way. Serginho Dest looked like he had no direction. You mentioned Tim Ream. Chris Richards had a really difficult game, and Alex Freeman is young, he's inexperienced, he looked that way. So every single player chose the worst possible day to have their worst possible game at this World Cup. But if you're the U.S. men's national team, this is a moment for reflection for me, because you came out, you got a coach who has raised the ambition of the men's national team, but yet the same results. So where do they go from here? That's a question that I can't answer today. If I could, I'd be getting paid the big bucks. I'd still be working for the Golazo network, big bosses, but I'd probably have a job with the U.S. Soccer. So this creates more questions than the answers we thought we were getting during the group stages.
Generally, the Call It What You Want crew said the round of 16 was like an expectation for this US side in this World Cup. Do you think this was a success for the US this World Cup so far, or a failure?
It's difficult.
Because I think we all expected them to get to this stage.
The way they started the group stage against Paraguay, I was like, whoa, this team can make the semifinals, maybe, at least. It was very, very impressive. But then seeing the way that they went out, I wouldn't say it's a complete failure. I think the game itself against Belgium was a failure, but I think the performance in general at this World Cup, I think it was good. It wasn't great, it wasn't perfect, but I think it was good because we saw glimpses of what some of these players are capable of. I think for moments, I thought just the relationships between McKennie, between Balogun, between the players in the midfield, it was impressive and it was exciting. And it was the first time, I think, seeing a U.S. men's national team be exciting to watch.
Marco, for it to have been a success, would you have wanted the U.S. to beat a team like Belgium, a highly ranked team?
You have to beat a good team.
Yeah.
You have to beat a real team. You have to beat a team that you're not as good of. You have to over exceed the expectations. For me, it's bang average. I mean, this is what I expect. I thought this would happen, and you mentioned this golden generation. It's a label that was given to them. It's not a label that was earned. We have not seen that, unfortunately. It sucks to say, yes, a lot of the players are playing in Europe, in Champions League, they're performing, but when it all comes together, we brought in Pochettino. We brought this group together. It didn't look good coming into the World Cup. Then you're right. We had this match against Paraguay. The first 45 minutes, you beat Australia. The momentum is building. But then when it came to it, when the bright lights were on, when you had to overachieve. And by the way, you didn't lose. Context is always important. You didn't lose to France. You lose to France in the round of 16. You have a bad draw. Okay, fine. Guys, we lost to a Belgium that it's the worst Belgium of the last decade. It's the worst Belgium of a decade. And they lost to them. If we're just saying the truth. So we have to be humble, learn, see what happens with Pochettino, what players are going to come into the squad, but we can't act like this is a success for me.
I think if the U.S. had lost with a very good performance, with the fight, with quality, with not so many mistakes, we would have been having a different conversation.
How Mexico lost went out against England.
It's a good point.
Yeah, look, it's 2002. That 0-2 team lost to a Germany side, albeit in the quarterfinal, and they put some respect back on U.S. soccer. But what I'm concerned about now is you flip it forward because you can't go back and replay it. Well, I mean, you can't go back in theory and replay the game.
Are there any articles?
Article 28 coming up. But when you look ahead to the next World Cup, this is not a young group anymore. 2022, they were a young group. This is a group that was entering their prime. The next World Cup, you look at some of the ages of some of the players, this is a completely different dynamic. Okay, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, Christian Pulisic. This is their current age group. You flip it now in 4 years, the core group of this team, they're going to be in their 30s. So there's going to be a lot of question marks about who do you bring in. And we've seen national teams, Marco, and Janelle, you've seen this as well, where there's always this refreshment. when it comes to cycles, when it comes to what happens between now.
Do you think they have that? Do you think they'll be able to?
I think we're going to find out at the next Gold Cup. This is where some of the players, I think of Xavier Golazo. We think of some of the Red Bull players that have really made a mark in Major League Soccer. You think of maybe, is this a time to throw Kevin Sullivan? He's the wonder kid in Major League Soccer that everyone keeps talking about. Is this a time to throw him into the next Gold Cup? So if you're Mauricio Pochettino and you are still the manager or the head coach of the U.S. men's national team, you got to find the next crop and the next group of players coming up, or else we'll be having the same conversation in 2030 if they get to the World Cup.
4 of the last 5 World Cups, US have been unable to advance out of the round of 16, so they'll be going home, even though they are actually home. Belgium advancing to take on Spain.
Thanks for the reminder, Hannah.
Quarterfinals. Everybody, why don't we go to Morning Footy trivia? So today's question is, when was the last time the US men's national team allowed 4+ goals in a World Cup match? So we're going to leave you with that, taking a quick break here, and after this short break, we'll be revealing the answer and talking more on this World Cup, everyone.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
We are in Nashville, Tennessee tonight outside Jodas Park, the home of Nashville SC, among thousands of fans that represent a nation behind the Stars and Stripes, hoping that they will advance to their first World Cup quarterfinal in 24 years.
I'm so jacked up right now. I'm trying to contain myself. How do you guys feel about this first half? What are you expecting for the second half?
Shame. We got to stop being all timid and everything, bro. This is lame.
Definitely got to turn to the second half.
The biggest fear we had was that we hadn't seen the best of Belgium. Tonight we saw the best of Belgium. There's not too many positives to take out of tonight's match.
I'm in pain. I'm still trying to process what I watched. It just wasn't good enough from everybody today.
The Music City is somber tonight because the US men's national team have been knocked out of the World Cup by Belgium.
So everyone, this year was the fourth time in the past 5 World Cups that the US exited the tournament in the round of 16. They started off well, beating Paraguay and Australia. They then lost against Turkey in the final game of the group stage. But they went on to beat Bosnia and Herzegovina in the round of 32. But yesterday they ultimately lost to Belgium 4-1 in the round of 16, now out of the World Cup. So Mauricio Pochettino's contract as US men's national team head coach is coming to an end, so it's time to take a look at his time in charge. Pochettino was hired back in September of 2024, taking charge shortly after leaving his role as Chelsea manager. And things started well for Poch, who won his US men's national team debut with a 2-0 win over Panama in October of 2024. But then Poch failed his first official test in March of 2025, with the Americans losing to Panama and Canada to finish fourth in the 2025 CONCACAF Nations League finals. Then, 4 months later, the US team put together a commendable run to the Gold Cup final, but ultimately lost to Mexico. Fast forward to this summer, and Pochettino guided the Americans to a strong start to the World Cup, winning their group and beating Bosnia in the round of 32. And the good vibes from that run came to a crashing halt last night after a disastrous 4-1 loss to Belgium, the US men's national team's worst knockout round loss at the World Cup since 1930. And here is what US head coach Mauricio Pochettino had to say after the game.
But the problem, you improve, but sometimes you need to go little by little, like, it's not linear that you are going to grow so quick. For me, I am so proud because in 1 year, I think with all the circumstances, I think this team show that we can play football, we can play soccer, we can compete, that we need to keep improving. A lot of young players with a lot of potential and future. And I think a generation of young kids that are coming behind. I think only it's about, to keep believing in that process.
Pochettino also was asked yesterday in the press conference after the game about his future with the US, and he did say, look, now's not the time to talk about it. If this were the end for Mauricio Pochettino as the US head coach, Marco, would you consider his tenure a success?
For me, it would be hard to say that it's a success. I mean, think about it, we looked at the graphic of what the last teams have been able to do. I mean, I think he had an incredible buy-in. I think tactically we saw things from this U.S. national team, if we look at the World Cup as a whole, that I don't remember growing up watching the team and looking at them tactically the way that they lined up. But it's hard to say with a stamp of approval, yeah, it was a success. But do you bring in another coach? Does he actually get you out of a round of 16? That's also difficult. I look at the players as well, and you look at them and say that there has to be responsibility shared. So it's not just on Pochettino to decide if it's a success or not.
Mm-hmm. Lou, do you think the same way?
Yeah, excuse me, I'm with you. Very few times I'm lost for words, and maybe this team and their performance last night's a big reason. But I think you hit the nail right on the head with this. What Mauricio Pochettino has done is the first thing he did, he exposed and shined light on something that needed to be addressed, which was the fact that the culture needed to change with the U.S. men's national team. But now, if you're U.S. soccer, the next step that you need to do is you need to make sure that you can retain Poch in this role as head coach, because he built something. And now if Poch wants to stay, and I don't think if you ask anyone in U.S. soccer, it'll be not for a lack of, do we want Poch? Mm-hmm. It'll be, does Poch want to be a part of this project? And that's where you get your best negotiators, you get your best contract people, you get your best people to pitch this project, and you make it enticing for him, because he is the most important next piece for U.S. soccer.
I agree with you on that. I think it's difficult to build a system if you're constantly changing the direction of the team. I think if they want to see a successful U.S. team for the next World Cup, I think keeping Pochettino is the best bet, because he's allowed them to play with freedom. I think he has brought out the best in some of these players. And he also believes in players that maybe before didn't believe in themselves. But like you mentioned, it's about that individual responsibility. Do these players want that? Does Pulisic want that responsibility? I don't think he does. He's 27. It's likely that he will be captain at the next World Cup. But when he came off the pitch, he had his head down. Yeah, he was injured, but he had his head down and he was like this the whole time. And it's like, your team needs their leader. Your team needs Captain America. Where is that responsibility? Where is that desire to say, okay, I'm going to be that person. I can't do it on the pitch, but I'm going to do it off the pitch. And that's not up to Pochettino.
OK, then, everyone, why don't we bring in senior writer at The Athletic, Paul Tenoro. Paul, lovely to see you. Before we actually talk to you about Mauricio Pochettino and everything to do with US soccer, you've been covering this team, this country, your whole career, haven't you? You've been with this country for a month in this World Cup. You were at the game yesterday. I just want to get your initial thoughts, just as a journalist, from your point of view of this loss yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it was massively disappointing. I think it was, I don't want to say it was surprising, but it was the first real reality check that this team had in this tournament, where they had to face a team that was a top European side. And the beginning of this tournament, they were allowed to kind of build up the good vibes, to get the country behind them, which was good and important. And it was the point of this tournament, right? To try to bring new people into the sport, to entertain them. And they did that job, and they did it well. You know, I'll always remember that win over Paraguay for what the atmosphere is like and the reaction to it around the country. But this game last night was the moment that the tournament was really about, because they had a chance to change people's minds going forward. And instead, I think it went the other way, right? I think people have said they are exactly who we thought they were. We're not going to buy in on this anymore. You know, what we saw at the beginning was an illusion. And that's the hardest part to cope with coming out of this tournament, is that, you know, there is still so much more that has to be done to grow this program, to grow the sport in this country. And this moment, this 2026 World Cup, a home World Cup, the chance to show where the U.S. has gone, is a missed moment now. It's a missed opportunity on so many different levels. And the hope is that not too much damage was done, that maybe there are little glimmers of that belief that were instilled to people here and there along the way. But really, my hope is that this opens an opportunity to kind of look in the mirror more for the leadership around American soccer, and to really study what they need to do to help this sport grow.
Paul, I said it before, we have to stop meeting like this, because I feel like it's been 2-3 days that we're bringing bad news or crazy news to the U.S. soccer public and to the world. But all jokes aside, I echo what you said. You can feel the doom and gloom, or the mood shattering, you know, just sense of what we just saw against Belgium. But when we flip it forward to 4 years from now, I mean, so many people have labeled this the golden generation, but at the next World Cup, this so-called golden generation, they're going to be older. So what might this group look like in 4 years' time? Because I'm not filled with as much hope as I was prior to kickoff last night, seeing the age that some of these players are going to be at.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I think you can look at the Belgium team and kind of get an idea of where this national team program is going now in the next 4 years and the 4 years after that. You have the remnants of Belgium's golden generation on the field last night, and then you have the young players who are coming through and maybe seizing control and saying, it's our turn. And that's what U.S. soccer is going to need, because the biggest stars of this team are going to be in their 30s in the next World Cup. And so you can't count on Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams and those players to be the featured players the same way they were this time around. Not to say that they don't have a role, they're not important, but it is valuable to start to see whether or not some other players can come through and reinforce this program. And, you know, whether that is the players we already know, like Malik Tillman and Flo Balogun, who are newer to this program, newer to the senior program, playing in their first World Cup, who can still have a big role, or whether it's younger players coming through whose names we don't even know yet, maybe, or, you know, is it players like Gozo and MLS who can add to it? But I think we realistically have to talk about, you know, what needs to be done, not for the World Cup in 4 years, but even looking beyond that. Because I think what we saw last night is there's still a long way to go for American men's soccer to be able to compete with the world's best. This was the quote-unquote golden generation in their prime at home in a World Cup, and they still couldn't get past the round of 16. This doesn't feel like a quick fix type of situation. You know, Poach talking about linear growth and nonlinear growth, you know, usually that's the kind of language you use when you're talking about a longer term project. And as much as we hoped it was closer and wanted to believe it was closer, It's not. And there's a lot of hard work left to do to get there.
Paul, we've been talking about how we saw a major lack of leadership in last night's match, a lack of individual responsibility and like that individual desire to pick the team up, to lift the team up, to guide the team in the right direction, especially in difficult moments. And I'm talking about within the pitch, inside the field in those moments, because you can't depend on Pochettino or your coach to always be the person to solve the problems for you. I don't think Pulisic has it in him to be the Captain America that everybody wants him to be. Who do you think are those players that should step up and take that leadership role?
Yeah, I mean, there always have been certain personalities in this team that have played that role, and it's never been Christian, right? Tyler Adams has always been sort of the vocal leader of this team and the lead by example guy in the locker room. And to be fair, Tyler also did not have a great game last night. And so where that responsibility falls now are many different places. But I agree with what you guys were talking about earlier in regards to Mauricio Pochettino. I think whether you keep Pochettino or not, it is critical that you bring in a coach who's able to keep in place some of the things that Pochettino has been changing around the federation. The idea of who's in charge, what control looks like, how people value call-ups, the ability to choose whether or not you get called up or not, the approach to being with the national team in general. You need somebody who's got the power to say, this is the way it is, I'm in charge, the power stays with the people it should be with and not with the players. So there is the on-field responsibility part of it. But as this program moves forward, I think that cultural change that Pochettino instituted in a relatively short amount of time is the most important factor moving forward with this national team, to make sure people understand that being called in is a privilege. It's not something that you can just kind of toss to the side or think that is always going to be there. And if you lose that mentality, then you're taking more steps backwards from even the levels of progress that were made in this World Cup cycle.
Paul, I know it's fresh, but with all the context you have, your feeling, do you think he stays? Do you think Pochettino stays as the U.S. coach?
I would be surprised if he stays in the long term. I could see him maybe signing the extension and being around for a little bit, but he has signaled pretty clearly publicly that he has a desire to coach in the Premier League again. And I feel like there is some part of it that has to be considered as to whether or not U.S. Soccer wants to bring in a coach where for 4 years, they go through that cycle again of every time a job opens up, Pochettino's name is a candidate, and he's doing interviews where he's talking about his desire to go back to the Premier League. There has to be a commitment to be around for 4 years to try to build something. And it's okay that Pochettino might want to go back to the Premier League. I understand it. It's the highest levels of the game. And I actually think that in what he did coming into the program, what he changed culturally, was really, really important to the potential lasting legacy of his time with the national team. But I'm not sure if he really wants to be bought in for the next 4 years. And that's something he's going to have to determine.
Paul, I'm going to ask you to put your technical director hat on. Obviously, Matt Crocker went to the Saudi Arabian Federation. So you are now the technical director of U.S. Soccer and the U.S. men's national team. If not Poch, then who?
Yeah, man, this is a really tough one. This is a really tough one because there aren't that many personalities who can come in and do what Pochettino did, which is to say, I am the biggest name in this locker room. I have coached people at the very highest levels of the game. You need to kind of take a backseat to me as the coach, right? Like, that is not an easy task to go find in global soccer. Do they go to people who have been involved in national teams in the past? Somebody like a Gareth Southgate. Do you look to the club game again? Wherever it comes from, I think it has to be a bigger name again. You set a standard with Pochettino, but you've also set kind of the reset of the culture that needs that big personality in the head coaching position. I just don't think that you can back down from that at this point. So when we talk about the next coach, I think you have to start talking about some of the bigger names in the sport. And maybe Roberto Martinez is another example of that type of name who's been involved in big-time national teams, understands the 4-year cycle, the rhythms of it, and will be committed to doing that.
On a brighter note, are you happy to be gone, go see your wife and kids after a month on the road?
I'm very happy and hopeful that I get to go see my wife and kids for a couple of days before I go back out on the road, but I'm not counting chickens yet. I got to wait and see where I'm going from here. And maybe I can watch a World Cup game with my son, Ben, who's very obsessed with the tournament right now. And let's not forget that, the U.S. may be out, but there are a lot of people around this country that are still going to be watching this tournament, still going to be enjoying what's happening, still going to be inspired by what's going on the field. It might not be Americans, but it'll be watching Erling Haaland and Mbappe and Messi and all the big names and big teams that are still alive.
You could learn a lot watching those other teams.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
All right, then. Let's leave it there. Okay, Paul, thank you very much for joining us. Hope to see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Enjoy the time with your family as well. Everyone, there is plenty more to talk about with the US men's national team. The Call It What You Want crew of Jimmy Conrad, Tony Meola and Charlie Davies will dive into yesterday's match, the future of Pochettino and the future of the US men's national team on today's special edition of Call It What You Want. Live at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Golazo America YouTube channel and available wherever you get your podcasts. All right, then, everyone, time to revisit Morning Footy trivia. The question was, when was the last time US men's national team allowed 4+ goals in a World Cup match? Any guesses, guys?
Come on, Lahoud.
Lahoud.
I believe in you.
I'm African.
Yeah.
USA gets knocked out of the World Cup, and all of a sudden he switches.
I'm a dual citizen. I'm African today.
No idea.
No idea, Marco? Come on, you know it.
Is it 1990?
Yes.
That's as far as I got.
1990. Should I give you the score? 5-1. It was against Czechoslovakia. Yeah. Last time they allowed 4+ goals in a World Cup match. All right, then, everyone. That's Morning Footy trivia done. No one got the answer. Maybe we'll make...
Apparently, Meola started in the game.
Oh, wow.
Big tone.
Oh. Yeah.
1990.
Saved the penalty.
Back in the day.
Could have been worse without Tony.
There we go. All right,
You
then,
weren't
everybody.
even born then.
No, I was not born.
I wasn't either.
That's like
You weren't either.
No.
That's like the olden days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
1900s.
Coming up next, we've got much more Morning Footy, everyone. See you on the other side.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gotta blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Morning Footy, 48 Nations, everybody. So after that US loss, everyone is reacting on social media, including the Belgium national team, saying it's called football, not soccer.
I mean, we're Morning Footy, right? We agree.
Yeah, we do agree with the Belgian
Call
team.
it what you want.
Yeah, call it what you want. There we go. Another tweet from them, overturn this.
Fair play.
I know, fair play.
10 out of 10 for that.
10 out of 10.
The social media manager was praying that Belgium won to use this.
They had so many things already drafted.
The Belgian admin's going to get a raise for some of the tweets he had last night.
Last night, Twitter was unbelievable.
Yeah, well, yesterday as well, Knicks player and Chelsea supporter Josh Hart had some thoughts on Twitter. US lost, but Knicks still champs. Good night. Who are we supporting now? We didn't want to win anyways because they would have called it rigged. Pancakes
over
Belgian waffles. We haven't really spoken about Balogun's red card, how that could have affected the game yesterday. Who do you think it affected the players?
Yeah, well, some of the Belgian players were on record talking about it, and Nicholas Raskins, who I talked about, he said that what the Belgian players experienced when that ruling happened, he said they experienced it as an absolute injustice. And I'm a firm believer as a former player that when something happens that you experience as an injustice, and there's different people who will see different things about this, but for me personally, there was a sense of injustice about that because by the ruling, Balogun shouldn't have been allowed to play. But there's one thing you can do as a player. You can either talk off the pitch or you do your talking on the pitch. And Belgium did a lot of talking on the pitch with how they played, with how they carried themselves, and they made it personal. And I just, want to say this, that it's not just Belgian fans that are going to celebrate this. England fans will celebrate this. French fans will celebrate this. It just felt like it was the U.S. against the world last night. And there's going to be celebrations across the world, probably against U.S. soccer right now. And it felt like justice was served.
I read the Italian newspapers this morning, and they were all celebrating that USA lost. So you could understand why. I think it definitely makes an impact, and they admitted it. Charles de Catalata said it himself that it added a little more, but quality is quality at the end of the day. I don't think if it didn't happen, USA would have won. The football spoke for itself. We saw the level that Belgium was at. We saw the level that USA was at.
I definitely agree with both of you. It's a win for football. It's a win for football. The U.S. had absolutely no excuses last night, and Belgium did what they had to do. They played the game on their own terms. And like you said, when you, as a player, as a person, when you live some form of injustice, it just fuels you in the right way. And Belgium did that.
Yeah.
Did all that to still lose.
Okay, then, everyone. Why don't we shift gears over to Claudia, who's got our headlines for us. Claudia, did you enjoy the game last night?
I did. I went into Brooklyn. Brooklyn is so freaking far from
Which part of Brooklyn?
Industry City.
You went to Industry City?
Bro. And
yeah, that's close.
Close to where? To you?
Yeah. That's close to real Brooklyn.
Yeah, I took so many trains to get there, but it was
only just to go watch that game.
Watch them lose 4-1.
You should have stayed at home like me.
I didn't go to bed until like 1 or 2. So yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I needed a win, guys. It's all right. It's all right. So I've learned my lesson. I'm staying home to watch all the games because then I can just go right to bed afterwards.
Fair enough.
Hey, all right, guys, let's get into our news because the U.S. men's national team might be out, but the World Cup continues to roll on. So, of course, so does all the World Cup news. And Portugal's elimination yesterday marked the end of Roberto Martinez's time as their head coach. The Spanish boss stepped down after Portugal's loss to Spain, ending his time in charge after taking over after the following the 2022 World Cup. Martinez led Portugal to the 2024 Euro quarterfinals before winning the 2025 UEFA Nations League. But he fell short in his quest to lead Portugal to its first World Cup title. Now, in some other coaching news, we do have some club moves to touch on. French side Paris FC has hired Liam Rossigna as their next head coach. And American coach Pellegrino Matarazzo has signed a contract extension with Real Sociedad. So Matarazzo was rewarded for helping lead Real Sociedad to the Copa del Rey title and a place in the Europa League. Matarazzo took charge back in January with Real Sociedad near the relegation zone, and he helped them to a 10th place finish in La Liga. His new deal will keep him at Sociedad through the 2027-2028 season. From coaching news over to some injury news now, because Belgium's big win over the USA did have some bad news for them, and it was the injury that was suffered by Amadou Onana. According to multiple reports, Onana suffered a torn ACL during last night's win over the Americans. The Aston Villa midfielder left the match in the 21st minute after a collision with Christian Pulisic and will now miss the rest of the World Cup and a significant portion of the upcoming club season with Villa. In other injury news, we do have some breaking news that will impact one of today's round of 16 matches. Switzerland will be taking on Colombia today, and the Swiss will reportedly have to do so without Johan Manzambi. The Freiburg star has suffered a knee injury in training that will keep him out of today's match. Manzambi has recorded 3 goals and 2 assists at this summer's World Cup, so it will be a huge miss for them, but the Swiss will have to face Colombia without him. Lahoud, Manzambi, a huge loss for Switzerland, but how truly big is this of a miss for Switzerland, and what are they going to do in his absence? Who will have to step up for him?
Yeah, this is massive. And if you're a Colombia fan, you have to feel like you have the competitive advantage. Switzerland are a solid team, and they're a very strong team. Johan Manzambi make them a real contender. And we saw the difference when he came in off the bench against Bosnia, I think it was. The Swiss attack just went into just hyperdrive. He's dynamic. He's a force of nature. He's young. He's playing with so much confidence. And if there's a player that ever needed a chance at redemption, Dan Ndoye, someone you've covered with his time at Bologna, Dan Ndoye needs to step up. I know on paper, Fabian Rieder is probably going to come in. He started that match against Bosnia. But this has to be the Dan Ndoye game of his life, or else Colombia will win this game.
Well, he didn't do it in the past. Dan Ndoye was the one who was starting. Manzambi subbed in for him in that Bosnia game, and Manzambi in 2 minutes did more than Ndoye did in whatever it was, 70. For me, I had Switzerland going through in my bracket, and this makes me want to change it. That's how good Manzambi is. 20 years old, breaks the line, dribbles. He's not scared. He's the best Swiss talent that I see on the team. It was already going to be such a tight match. Colombia favored for many. Without Manzambi, I think it's going to be really hard for Switzerland to get something. Even though they are a very experienced group, they're a group that I think is consistently overlooked, but he gave them that extra element that they didn't have in the previous group stage matches without him.
I agree with you. He was that edge, and I think now that Colombia doesn't have to worry about him. They can just focus solely on themselves and all of the individual talent that they have, and I have Colombia winning this one, guys.
All right, come on. That's not that crazy. I think 90% of the world has Colombia.
I think we all do.
I got unlucky.
All right, then, everybody. Switzerland versus Colombia. That's a little bit later on today in Vancouver. We are going to be taking a quick break here on Morning Footy, everyone. We've got much more coming up on the other side.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars!
What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it? The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad in my hand.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Morning Footy, everyone. Why don't we go to Dallas, where Spain and Portugal squared off in a clash of star-studded squads, but the big names couldn't deliver goals in what turned into a defensive affair at AT&T Stadium. So Spain needed a second half stoppage time to find a goal, with Mikel Merino's 91st minute goal booking Spain's place in the quarterfinals and ending Cristiano Ronaldo's quest for a World Cup title in his sixth and final tournament. Taking a look now at Spain's defensive stats from the World Cup, and it's looking pretty good. Yesterday was the 6th consecutive clean sheet for Spain at the World Cup. That's a tournament record now, and goalkeeper Unai Simon extended his record shutout streak to 609 minutes. So very impressive defensively from Spain. So they're through, and Portugal are heading home, and that also marks the end of an era, as this was the final World Cup of Cristiano Ronaldo's career. Ronaldo played 5 matches, scored 3 goals, and leaves this World Cup as the first player ever to score in 6 different editions of the tournament. And here's what he had to say after the game.
Como me levanté hoy, igual, con la conciencia tranquila, ha dado mi mejor. Ha ganado 3 títulos por Portugal. Antes de Cristiano, Portugal no tenía ganado ningún título. Pues contento. La verdad que el mayor título que gané en la selección fue 2016. Que para mí tiene la misma dimensión que un mundial, sinceramente. Por eso, repito, salgo de conciencia tranquila, de mi mejor y ya está. Mañana será un nuevo día y la vida sigue.
So 27 appearances, 11 goals at the World Cup for Cristiano Ronaldo, becoming the first ever man to score in 6 World Cups. Marco, how will you remember Cristiano Ronaldo at this tournament?
Oh, just in this tournament, or just in general?
World Cup
in general, listen, I know a lot of people are putting stock into 41-year-old Ronaldo now and what he did, and I definitely agree that there were moments that he held this team back, and I wish, coming into this tournament, it's something that we said in the previews, I wish he would have accepted the role of being on the bench and being thrown into matches. I think he could have been more impactful in that, but I'm not going to judge his entire career off of that. I watched Cristiano Ronaldo, that's one of the greatest goal scorers I've ever seen in my life, coming up in the most clutch moments ever. Portugal's problem is that they are not the team. They are not a unit. They're the best team. Portugal's the best team in the world until they actually have to play football, because they're always talked about. Everybody comes in every tournament, oh, Portugal's amazing, they're great. I never see it. And it's not just Ronaldo. It's also the other players that are behind him. Bruno Fernandes, supposed to be Premier League Player of the Year. I didn't see him. Vitinha, João Neves. I mean, they don't ever create the group. And I think Argentina have shown it that it can't just all be reliant on one player. It takes a unit. Roberto Martinez had a Ferrari. He crashed it on the first turn. He was a disaster this entire tournament. So, yeah, I was not impressed with Portugal at all. I was actually surprised that they even got to this point. I think Croatia would have put up a better fight against Spain.
But it's difficult to get the best out of all of those players on the Portugal side when they're all conditioned to play for Ronaldo. And they're all asked to play for him, but they're not asking Ronaldo to play for the team. That's the difference between Argentina and Portugal, Messi and Ronaldo. We shouldn't compare, but we're always going to compare them. But in terms of Ronaldo's legacy, to me, he's the greatest goal scorer of all time. I think you can't argue with that, or maybe you can, but he's proved it time and time again. I would have loved to see him take a different role this World Cup. I think we would have been having an entirely different conversation right now if he had taken that role. I think he let his ego get in the way of this World Cup, and it affected Portugal in a very, very negative way. But that aside, he's still a legend, not just because of his numbers and all of his stats, and we can talk about that over and over again, but just for what he means for football in general in terms of how you take care of yourself, the discipline, what you do off the pitch, how important it is to prioritize your health, your well-being, your recovery, every single little detail. He is that player. He is the standard.
We've had a comment on YouTube saying Ronaldo can be proud he won the Euros. We even saw in that interview there, he said, I hold me winning the Euros as highly as if I were to have won the World Cup. What did you make of that, Lahoud?
Yeah, look, I felt like that was a comment of him trying to, one last time, save the blemish of what this World Cup has really meant. And it's sad to see that the amount of people that have gone after his legacy. There's a difference. You can go after his performances, but there isn't anyone at this network, in this studio, in the city of Stamford, in New York City, in the world, apart from Lionel Messi, in my opinion, only a 0.01% that can talk about his legacy. None of us have any right to do that because we couldn't hold a candle to what he's done in terms of his legacy. I want to talk about Portugal because everyone talks about his club career, but there needs to be some respect put on his name with the Portuguese national team because last time I checked, Portugal had won these amount of trophies before Ronaldo. Not one, not two, not three, zero. Zero. The best they've ever done in the World Cup was a semifinal under Eusebio. Oh yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo was part of that team in 2006 that made a semifinal. So he has delivered for Portugal. Unfortunately, it hasn't been at a World Cup. But I agree with you. He is the greatest goal scorer of all time. And I know a lot of people are questioning, is this going to be the last time we see him? I personally don't think so. Because that run and that rush to 1,000 goals.
Where are we going to see him?
The Nations League is coming up this fall.
Ah, okay. Not in the World Cup.
No, not in the World Cup. But with Portugal, I think he is hell-bent.
You never know.
I think he's hell-bent on getting that 1,000 goals. That is the last thing he wants before he calls it a day. I think he's going to go after it because he's going to get his goals in Saudi, but he does not want this World Cup to be the last day on his career. It's my personal opinion. I think we'll see him at the Nations League, and I think he'll get those 1,000 goals.
It was also Roberto Martinez's time's over with Portugal. Marco, you're shaking your head. Do you think he wasn't the right guy to lead this Portuguese team?
Not at all. He had the Belgian golden generation. And what did they do? What did he create with that? Raja Nainggolan, who was his midfielder, fantastic midfielder, he said if he knew that Roberto Martinez was going to be his coach in Belgium, he should have switched and played for Indonesia instead. He said tactically he had no awareness. Their tactics were give the ball to Hazard and see what happens. So no, why did he get this job? And he did not have the courage to have this conversation. Not at the World Cup. It should have been before the World Cup. Say, hey, Cristiano, this is the way that it should be. You're going to be an impact. You're going to still be important. Come into a match. Maybe it's impossible to have that conversation with Cristiano, but he did not put, for me, he didn't put Portugal first. And again, he didn't get the balance right of the rest of the team. I know Ronaldo's the focus, but there were other talents behind Ronaldo that did not perform to their level. The best thing he did was step down. I respect that. Things went wrong. He put his hands up. He said, I didn't deliver, and he left. But Portugal were very lucky to get to this point, in my opinion.
Well, Portugal are now out of the World Cup. Spain are going through to take on Belgium in the quarterfinals this Friday. Everybody, we're going to be taking a quick break here on Morning Footy. We've got so much more coming up on the other side, everyone. Do stay with us.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. With the entire nation hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gotta blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
American soccer is taking centre stage this summer with the 2026 World Cup being played here in the USA. And CBS Sports has a trio of documentaries that help tell the story of the sport in this country like no one else can. Take a look.
Soccer isn't a new game in the United States. The immigrants brought it here in 1912.
The opportunity to play for my country, I just could not pass that up.
We're all very proud of you.
Not everyone is aware of what happened in important historical moments for American soccer.
I was a kid that shouldn't have made it. Kid from Nacogdoches, Texas.
Clint Dempsey Doodle.
Kind of one of those things I wasn't going to be denied.
People criticize me often.
You can't take it seriously. It's the USA.
But I get to have that attention because I'm good.
We were carrying the weight of American soccer on our shoulders.
I'm gonna put it shot.
Probably unfair to 20 guys.
When he looks at you, he looks like he wants to kill you. And I have respect for that.
It's about how much are you willing to give to win.
Maybe it's the head that wears the crown.
The USA has realized its dream.
Dempsey threw the ball in the air! What can this kid do?
So Paramount Plus is your one-stop for the best documentaries in American soccer. You don't know where I'm from, dog. The story of Clint Dempsey is one of several docuseries, along with Pulisic, a 9-part docuseries which gives you a behind-the-scenes look into the life and story of US star Christian Pulisic. And then finally, Billion Dollar Goal, a 3-part docuseries focused on the biggest game-changing moment in American soccer history. And you can watch all 3 documentaries exclusively on Paramount Plus. Coming up next, everybody, we've got much more Morning Footy 48 Nations.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days with the entire nation hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. They're not like us. We need to get out of here now.
Open your eyes. Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount+.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount+.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money. What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount+.
So the Mexican national team's run at this summer's World Cup inspired a nation, and as El-Tri prepares to try and build on their success, they will have a new man in charge of the project. Javier Aguirre's run as Mexico coach is over, and El-Tri legend Rafa Marquez has been handed the task of trying to take the team to new heights in what will be his first real head coaching job. So their new head coach knows exactly what it takes to succeed, known for his time at Barcelona, but on the international stage, he is the third most capped player in Mexican history, captained the national team, won the 1999 Confederations Cup, played in 5 World Cups and lifted the Gold Cup twice. So quite a resume for Rafa Marquez there. So to talk more on this coaching move, we bring in Felipe Cardenas. Felipe, thank you so much for joining us today. Haven't seen you for a while. You're over in LA covering this World Cup. First of all, before we talk about the head coach, how are you? How are you finding the World Cup this year?
I'm doing great. I'm in LA, so it's been nice to be out here working on some different shows and catching the vibe on the West Coast. But I've really enjoyed the World Cup. I know yesterday was a tough day for the U.S. A bit of karma there, and just ran into a better Belgian team. But I was also in Mexico for 2 games, for both the opener and the round of 32 game against Ecuador. So I got a taste of what a World Cup is like in Mexico. It was really fun.
Lovely. So Rafa Marquez was announced in April, didn't they? This Mexican national side announced it quite early on in the year. Why did they make that decision so early on before the World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's succession planning, right? Like, you're right. It's not something that we see often in international football, or even certainly not at the club level, where there's a plan in place for a manager to step aside once their team is out of the World Cup. But that's what Mexico wanted to do. I think it was because, before they hired Javier Aguirre for the 3rd time, it was his 3rd stint, they had cycled through too many managers, starting from 2022 when Tata Martino took them to the World Cup. They crashed out in the group stage. They tried Diego Coca, another Argentine. That didn't work out. They went with Jaime Lozano, the Mexican, who had now no experience at that level, and that didn't work either. And so that's why they turned to Javier Aguirre. And then I think with Rafa Marquez, it's something that I really realized being in Mexico in a story that I wrote was how important for this current team, the team that was just eliminated by England, how important for them it was to have a Mexican manager. And Javier Aguirre is someone who is like the most Mexican manager there is, right? His slang, his swearing, his personality. And he played for Mexico the last time they hosted a World Cup in 1986. So there was that connection with him. But in speaking with Mexicans on the streets in Mexico City, when the name Rafa Marquez was brought up, they talked about him like he is a legend, like a living legend. And one guy who was selling Panini cards at his local magazine stand told me that one of the keys of this team being together and having a future is that they look every day to the side and there's Rafa Marquez right there, a player who dressed in that Mexican uniform, as you mentioned, in that stellar resume, and obviously was one of the best European-based Mexicans of all time. So I think that's part of this succession planning, and someone that they really trust.
Felipe, for me personally, playing for the Mexican national team, growing up Mexican, Rafa Marquez was my idol. He is my point of reference when I think of the men's Mexican national team. He is one of Mexico's most decorated players, not just because of everything he's accomplished with the national team, but he played alongside some of the best players in the history of soccer at Barcelona. I'm happy. I think this is great for Mexico because it gives some continuity to what Javier Aguirre has been doing the past 2 years. My only concern is Rafa Marquez doesn't have any experience as a coach at this level. What's your take on that?
No, you're right. And like I mentioned, Jaime Lozano didn't either, and it didn't work out. They didn't really give him a lot of time. They pulled the rug pretty quickly and moved on. And so I don't think that will happen with Rafa Marquez because of what you just said. He is an idol to so many people. I think he's going to be given a longer runway. And he was part of this team. He was sitting on the bench every day alongside Javier Aguirre. He was the top assistant. He was game planning. He was looking at players. One of the big responsibilities that Rafa Marquez had was scouting the younger players, the U20 players and the U17 through U19. So again, that doesn't take away that he doesn't have experience at the international level. I think they do point a lot to his time with Barcelona, coaching Barcelona B, and the fact that at a club like Barcelona, being given the keys to even that team is quite a responsibility that he did, fairly well. It's short-lived, but still, you're put in that seat. Some coaches have risen through the ranks at Barcelona and been sitting on the bench for the first team. So I think it's a bit of a risk. It always is when you're not hiring an experienced manager. But I think what Mexico sees in Rafa Marquez goes beyond his experience on the touchline, and they're going to bank on that. And again, you mentioned it. It's continuity. This team played a certain way under Aguirre, and Rafa Marquez was right there, one of the guys in his ear, trying to convince him to play faster, more athletically, more creatively. Remember, they like chaos. That was the word that Aguirre used. Like, if we're playing chaotic, we're playing better. So if Rafa Marquez sticks to that and doesn't pump the brakes on Mexican football's identity, perhaps he's going to have some success.
Lovely stuff, Felipe. Big game for you tonight, isn't it?
Big game, Switzerland, Colombia. We're talking off the air. I mean, it's a tough one for both teams because they're pretty evenly matched in terms of player profile. I think experience. Colombia perhaps has a little bit more of an edge and some injuries on the Swiss side, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a tough one.
You got this. Don't worry. You're gonna get your revenge against Argentina. Start thinking about that one next.
Let's go. Thank you.
Enjoy the game, Felipe. Great to see you.
Take care,
Thanks,
everyone.
Felipe. Janelli, can I ask you, you touched on it right now when you asked that you said Rafa Marquez is your idol. If you're one of the young players in the squad, what would you think if he was your coach?
Oh, I'd be buzzing. I would be so happy to have him as my coach. I know that a lot of these players, all of them, absolutely respect him, not just because he wore the captain's armband, but because he literally represented and represents what greatness is for Mexico as a footballer. And that's amazing to have. And then I also know that just within Mexico, Barcelona is the greatest thing. And so to know that your coach played there and was also a legend there is like, you're thinking, if I'm a 17-year-old Gilberto Mora, I'm thinking, wow, what more can I ask for? One of my idols is now my coach. Like I even get the chills thinking that. Like, let's go. When's the next camp? Let's get started.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and this is quite a young team, isn't it? I mean, 5 players under 23 in this World Cup squad. Lahoud, how different could they look in 2030?
Yeah, it's a problem that I think the U.S. men's national team wish they had, right? And I'm going to flip this back to you, Janelli, because I think you can probably give the best insight into this. When we look at some of these players, one player that I think is going to be a stud for El Tri is Obed Vargas. If you haven't seen him play in Major League Soccer, watch him play for Atleti. I think he's going to get a lot more minutes, and unfortunately, that might come at Johnny Cardozo's expense for U.S. soccer fans. But I remember I played with El Emperador, Claudio Suarez, and he told me about seeing Rafa Marquez come through the ranks. And Rafa Marquez was a young player when he debuted with Mexico. For you, as a former player and as someone who was a young player coming through the ranks, you alluded to Gilberto Mora being able to look up to Rafa Marquez, but how significant is that where you can now get those pearls of wisdom from someone who was in your shoes, who was looked at as being one of the up-and-coming studs for the Mexican national team?
Yeah, it's huge, and I love that you mentioned Obed Vargas. He's already done great things with Atleti. I know he just got there recently, but he's had a few solid performances playing at the highest level, and that's really, really exciting for this Mexican midfield. But again, you know, we go back to Rafa Marquez. It's like, what more do you want? I do worry a little bit about that inexperience, but that's a risk that I think every coach is willing to take.
Scaloni was inexperienced too when he took over Argentina.
Look at him now. Look at him now.
Everyone wants him.
I really hope that this is the case for Rafa Marquez. I hope that that's the case for Mexico in general. But no, this young roster it's really, really exciting. I think we have a good foundation. In goal, Raúl Rangel. I think I'm so glad that he got to start this World Cup. That was one of the best things that could have happened to Mexico, because there was that conversation, is Ochoa going to play again? And I'm so glad he didn't. I think Ochoa showed maturity and understanding that his role was different. It was from the bench, and they gave Rangel the opportunity to gain that confidence. Now he has that World Cup experience. In that back line, Johan Vázquez, he is a leader. I see him being one of the future captains. Eric Lira in the midfield.
What a player.
Outstanding.
He is outstanding. It's the right word. I see him playing at a top club in Europe. I hope it happens. I hope he has the right guidance and he takes that step. And then Gilberto Mora, the 17-year-old wonder kid. I mean, we saw what he did. Against England, it wasn't his best match. I think it was difficult for him, but we saw moments of brilliance from him, and that's exactly what Mexico's been needing.
Okay, let's make things interesting. Ooh. With all this said, you already said which host nation was the best this World Cup. Which of the three has the highest potential?
Ooh.
There's only one answer for me.
Mexico.
Correct answer.
Yeah, I mean, we just went down the line of this roster of young players. It's really exciting. I think that if these players, the problem that has been happening with Mexico in the past with young players is they take the wrong step forward, or they're not willing to leave their comfort zone. They want to stay in Mexico in the Liga MX. I'm not saying it's a bad league. It's not. There's good teams. There's not great teams. It's not a constant competitive match every single weekend. So it's difficult to grow or find your best version when you're not playing, when you're not constantly being challenged. And that's been a problem within young Mexican talent. They choose to stay in their comfort zone. So if these players have the right guidance and they take the right step forward in their personal careers, and they're given the opportunity. First, obviously, they have to be given the opportunity by top clubs in the world. Oh, there's no roof for this Mexico side.
So you want them to go to Europe? Is that what you're thinking?
I would love for somebody like Gilberto Mora to take that step. Obed Vargas did it. Now he's at Atleti. I'm really excited to see how he develops there. Eric Lira, I think he's already done everything he's needed to do with Cruz Azul in the Liga MX. I think it's time for him to take the next step. Gilberto Mora, he's 17. Let's see what happens once he turns 18.
It's funny because the opposite conversation with Brazil, right? When we're talking about, they need to stay there longer, they don't need to go to Europe. So it's interesting. But yeah, I would agree. Mexico, USA, Canada last. Is that what you would say?
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to put this caveat. One of the difference makers at this World Cup was Julian Quiñones. He's 29 years old now. He's going to be, what is my mathing, next 4 years? He's going to be in his
33?
early to mid-30s, 33.
He could be that experienced player that Mexico needs.
And they'll take so much away from losing the match against England. I think all the players, I mean, how many times have we heard stories of losing a game in that manner, losing against an England team that's probably going to go far? They've earned that experience now. They'll take that with them in the next and say, hey, we could compete. It was not as far as maybe some people could have thought the match could be. And with all these players on the rise and a coach who believes in them, and I think also the buy-in that Aguirre had from the team, where in your third match you played against Czechia and he rotated 5 players and still won the game 3-0. He got everyone involved. He still got Ochoa to play his minutes, even though he was not going to be the starter. So that harmony is so important. So hopefully Marquez could continue that as well.
Yeah. They haven't advanced out of the round of 16 for the last 8 World Cups, haven't they? Do you think that expectation will be higher in 2030 with all the talent they've got?
That's always a goal.
Yeah.
It's always a goal. Get to quarterfinals and then hopefully more from there.
The quinto partido? Yeah. Is that what they say?
Well, we're going to have to wait. We've got 4 years to wait, haven't we, until we see Mexico at World Cup.
Not 5.
Not 5, no. Don't know where that came from. All right, then, everyone, time for a quick break here on Morning Footy. We've got so much more coming up on the other side, so do stay with us. We'll see you after this short break.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad in my camp.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money. What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
So after yesterday's result, Spain beating Portugal in the 91st minute and Belgium beating the US 4-1, meaning they have now beaten them 7 of the 8 times they have played, and they're going to be taking on each other in the quarterfinals of this World Cup. A huge game, Spain versus Belgium. And there are plenty of Spain players you can watch this season on Paramount Plus. A pair of Barcelona players in Champions League with Lamine Yamal and Pedri. Ballon d'Or winner Rodri of Man City will be in Champions League and Carabao Cup, and yesterday's match winner Mikel Merino will also be seen in Champions League and Carabao Cup throughout the 2026-27 season. And on the Belgium side, you can watch Kevin De Bruyne of Napoli as he will be in Champions League and Serie A. Charles de Ketelaere of Atalanta features in Serie A. Thibaut Courtois and Real Madrid will aim for their 16th Champions League title, and Man City's Jeremy Doku will also play in Champions League and the Carabao Cup.
All the stars on Paramount Plus.
All the stars on Paramount Plus. Why don't we talk about this Belgium side? Because we've done our US segments at the start of the show. Let's speak about Belgium. Boys, what did we think of Belgium yesterday? Marco, I'll start with you.
I was very impressed with Rudy Garcia's tactics. I think he got it right. Rudy Garcia is definitely a manager that has had his ups and downs. He had a really poor time recently in the last 2 years in his coaching career domestically when he was in Italy. Really struggled to form the group and form harmony amongst it, but he got it spot on. And he did what Portugal's manager Martinez was not willing to do, which is sometimes you have to sit some of your best players if it works. He had in the match against Senegal down 2-0. He takes Doku and Kevin De Bruyne off. He doesn't start both of those players. And Lukaku's been a player that's coming in on the bench as well. yet he knew tactically it would help the team a lot more. And I think you could see that the rest of the players agreed with the decisions. They responded to it. And just the way that they moved the ball was unbelievable. This is a Belgium side that had so much expectation in the last decade or so, never lived up to those expectations. I didn't think that they were great at the start of the World Cup. I just think that they were so much better than the U.S. tonight. And against Spain, it's a completely different beast. They're not going to be able to move the ball. They won't be able to control it the same way. Even with Charles de Catalate as a false nine, I'm not sure how that'll match up against Spain. But certainly they look better than I expected.
Yeah, they proved some of doubters wrong, and a lot of doubters maybe even in Belgium first, because speaking with the only Belgium fan I actually know a Belgium fan, he wasn't convinced. And for everything you said, you think of the performance against Egypt, Iran even, which I would argue Iran probably should have won that game. You think of some of the big saves that Thibaut Courtois had to make in that match. It seemed like Belgium was destined for just disaster. But this is what momentum does at a World Cup and major international tournaments. What happened off the pitch, the full Balogun decision, I still am convinced that was the smelling salt that Belgium needed to wake the hell up at this World Cup. And it proved that on the pitch, because the two players that are deciding matches for Belgium, for me, that I don't think a lot of people are giving as much credit to, Leandro Trossard and this fella right here, Yuri Tielemans, has been ridiculously good. He sets the tone both offensively and defensively, and he's really showing some of that wisdom and some of that star power that you really get to see with him at Aston Villa, and we get to cover because he's a European champion. He won the Europa League, and he's a big game player, and I love that he's the main man with the captain's armband.
And Onana went out injured in this game as well. They had to deal with a lot of different issues. Even when they conceded the goal, they looked calm. They were okay. Even at the leveler, they understood what they had to do. So I have to say, I was very impressed with them. But I think when we talk about that next level, when we talk about having to play Spain, they're still a level below. But when you have Courtois and net, and if you can make those decisive saves, they'll have a chance.
Yeah, you have to think as well, Belgium didn't score any goals in their first two games, and now they've got 12 goals. So they've been racking up.
Just got to keep playing USA.
All right. Okay. So big quarterfinal game against Spain. What are our storylines to watch, Marco? What's your one?
Yeah, so I touched on it in the beginning. It's the respect that this man, Rudy Garcia, has gotten in the locker room, where you get the result in a completely dominant fashion. You're scoring more goals than you were scoring before because you made those decisions on what the starting 11 needed and who was important. Kevin De Bruyne is coming off of a dreadful season at Napoli, where he was playing in a more defensive formation. Again, when he came off the field, this Belgian team actually got better. I know it's ironic to say, it's weird to say at this stage in his career, but they understand what they're doing best with the players that they have. So just seeing these numbers, I mean, you touch on this, Lahoud, they're getting more without Kevin De Bruyne at the moment, and then what a luxury it would be if the game is tight, like Spain was against Portugal, if you could throw on a creative player like him.
Yeah, well said, Marco. Rudy Garcia is going to be the difference. Is he the mad scientist that we saw that has the guts to make some of these decisions? Or is he going to be the one who, in the Senegal game for 80 minutes, looked like he didn't know what he was doing? Dodi Lukebakio was ridiculous against the U.S. men's national team, and he was one of the big reasons why they were able to claw their way back into that match against Senegal. And you're spoiled for riches at this point if you can bring Jeremy Doku off the bench. I would stick with Lukebakio because he gives you a bit more from a defensive standpoint, which he's going to have to defend. But what I saw from him, Jeremy Doku at times at this World Cup, it's almost as if he's gone back to the Jeremy Doku we saw at Rennes, the Jeremy Doku we saw when he first came to City, where every single time he picks up the ball, it's like he's trying to score. Football doesn't work that way at the World Cup. Lukebakio can do what Doku does, where he can beat 2 or 3 players in transition against Spain. That is where his decision-making, I think he's made better decisions in a smaller sample size than Jeremy Doku has for the majority of this World Cup.
I think it also impacts the 11 that you use when you play a Charles de Catalate rather than a Lukaku. Lukaku is more the typical number 9. Charles de Catalate wants to roam. He wants to have that freedom. So if you have these wingers occupying space, it really changes the dynamic. He's not that classic center forward, although he's actually sneaky good with his head. We saw him dunk on Tim Ream on the goal, right? He's just so good at what he does as well. But it's the the way that he'll drag into the midfield, that he could take the shot from outside, that I think creates a lot more freedom for the rest of the players around him.
Lahoud, how do they replace Amadou Onana?
Yeah, look, Hans Van Aken is going to come in, and I thought he did a good job in coming in and being effective. So we're going to use my big invisible hand and put Van Aken here, but it's not going to be a double pivot. It's going to be Nicholas Raskin, who you can catch on the Golazo Network and CBS Sports Network for the Ophir and Derby, the Rangers midfielder. He's going to be the single pivot. It's going to be Van Aken here. Tielemans is going to go, and it's going to be two advanced midfielders in advance of Raskin. And Raskin is going to be a player that I'm going to highlight, and I want to give some kudos to and flowers to, because he showed Tyler Adams what it's like and what it looks like to boss a midfield in a knockout round match at a FIFA World Cup. He was outstanding, and it's not just the assists he had, but it's the extra effort, the roll up your sleeve, the grit. He played the best game I've ever seen in his career. He is going to have to take it another level against your Rodri, Pedri, Dani Olmo. These are household names. If he can put his stamp on this match, I think Belgium have a real chance.
The subs make a difference, too. They're all very different profiles. Like I said, with Lukaku, we know the goal scorer he is still doing really well in the World Cup despite the minutes that are different. But also Doku and Salamakers as well. They have really good 1v1 quality, the ability to run at you. You have to start thinking about that. We saw subs make the difference for Spain in their match when they throw Marino in. So I think that maybe there is that level that Belgium, this unity that brought them together to knock out the USA to finally score these goals. Maybe it could trigger something to make them even better.
Moving over to Spain now, Lahoud, what's your storyline to watch?
Yeah, Luis de la Fuente, he has this Spanish side looking like becoming more of a well-oiled machine defensively. And going into the World Cup, it was actually a lot of questions about the back line, about the Spanish back line. You know, was Aymeric Laporte going to be the same Aymeric Laporte that he was prior to making his move to the Middle East? But in the final third, it's not for a lack of creating chances. It has been a lack of a killer instinct and a clinical edge. And you can come and say, okay, well, they beat Austria 3-0. They beat Saudi Arabia. But this is better opposition that they're going to face against the Belgium side that have this new renewed belief. And for Spain, there's been far too many times where Lamine Yamal has been kind of lacking that cutting edge. Mikel Oyarzabal, as many goals as he scored against Portugal, the first 15 minutes, he missed two routine chances. Dani Olmo has created chances, but just hasn't found that clinical Dani Olmo that we've seen for Barcelona in La Liga. And you see it with the shot conversion rate. Spain, for as much as Mikel Merino came in and saved the day, we could have easily, for as much as we can crap on Portugal, this could have easily been Portugal when you think of the last two chances that Portugal had. I think João Cancelo had a header that missed. So you have to be opportunistic and you have to be clinical. And I still give Spain the edge, but it's about putting this Belgian side away early and often.
Spain need to raise their level if they want to compete with the best. They're still, for me, a level below France. They need to get into that next gear. Lamine Yamal is off, still without Nico Williams. I think they lack that directness, that speed, the youthfulness that we fell in love with at the Euros that made them so unpredictable. It wasn't just the passes. They're also on 35 games unbeaten. Yeah. They're 2 games away from tying the record, which is 37. So definitely something to keep our eyes on. And you look at the defensive record, when you're not conceding goals, it certainly helps you, but they need to get to that next gear.
Okay. All right then, everyone. Those are our storylines to watch for this game, Spain versus Belgium in the quarterfinals. If you want to put a bet on during this game, enter buckets.
Oh, look who's back.
Look who's here.
Give me a hug. I love seeing you.
On trip. I'm so terrified of falling.
Your hair looks amazing today, by the way.
Thank you to our wonderful, I don't know her name, that's so embarrassing.
Oh my God.
But thank you, you're wonderful, and you saved my life. I appreciate it.
Sherry and Courtney, our hair and makeup ladies.
It looks good.
Courtney,
It looks good.
So you got some best bets for us then?
I do.
For this game, Spain and Belgium?
For this game, yeah.
Go ahead.
Spain versus Belgium. From a betting perspective, this is a nightmare game to try to bet on, because when you want to make money on footy, you want consistency, and not just the Messi to score every single game no matter what consistency. You want teams that show up in the exact same fashion with that same level of intensity and drive. You want to see teams like Mexico, like Japan, these teams that are already out, but every single game for 90 minutes they gave their opponent hell no matter what. Spain versus Belgium, not really that same level of consistency. We haven't seen the same Spain show up for a single back-to-back match yet, and we haven't seen the same Belgium side score it back-to-back yet. So it's kind of a tough one to bet on. I still have 2 bets for us. I'm going to give Oyarzabal another chance. I know that I had him to bet or score against Portugal. We didn't see that happen. We had the big missed chances. That's fine. You got to have a short memory in the betting space. You can't look at him now after one bad performance and say, I'm never betting on him again because you will miss out on money for someone who is this good. And even with one game, he's consistent. He's a guy that's been showing up, and I'm going to trust him with my money. Bet number 2, bit of a weird one here. I'm not looking at this match specifically, but rather a future on Spain. Spain to advance in this match is currently minus 400. No value in that whatsoever. So I'm going to take Spain to be eliminated in the semifinals because I don't believe that Spain are better than France or Morocco right now. So I don't care who they end up playing. I think they're going to lose. It's probably going to be France. But this is a way to get plus money without having to try to force something on a matchup that I think is going to be a really, really tricky one to try to predict.
Is it still plus 120 because we're early enough? You think that'll change as we get closer? Like, you have to bet this now to get value?
I don't think you got to bet it before the game. That's it. No, I think that the books are looking at either France or Morocco as being too tough for Spain to beat right now. So I don't think this line is going to move at all before kickoff.
Buckets, I'm surprised looking at the individual matchups that we saw. We were giving Belgium praise because of what they've done in, a game and 10 plus minutes against Senegal, including extra time. But why no love for Lamine Yamal? I look at the odds, plus 140 anytime goal scorer.
Not been great.
Yeah, but Maxime de Kuiper.
Yeah.
Lamine Yamal, no love for the kid?
It's a good matchup. You're betting on something you haven't seen yet, which is frustrating. And it's tough from the betting perspective to say, hey, I know this guy hasn't performed yet this World Cup, but this is the one he's going to do it. I want to see at least some kind of fight. I want to see some kind of drive. I'm aware of how good Lamine Yamal is, but I haven't seen it yet this World Cup. So I'm not going to risk it yet. I'm fine eating my words. He's probably going to get a hat trick now that I've said one bad thing about him. But I would rather go for the guy who has shown that, minus Portugal, he can score against anyone right now.
Who have you got going through in your bracket?
I've got Spain going through. I've got France going through. And then I've got France rolling over Spain.
He also had Bosnia going through.
No, we don't.
That's true.
I gave you too many compliments in the beginning.
I had to pull back a little
Have you
bit.
got the tattoo yet of Jimmy and Tony?
No.
No.
But have I got you breakfast yet?
Have you bought us breakfast yet?
Well, he hasn't brought breakfast yet.
No, and he's been here for 3 days.
Hey, security!
I gotta
Security,
go, guys. I
get
gotta
him
run.
out.
I'll see you later.
All right then, everybody. That's Spain versus Belgium in the quarterfinals of this World Cup this Friday in LA. We are taking a quick break here on Morning Footy, though, everybody. We've got so much more coming up on the other side.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
I look crazy. It's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
So everyone, plenty coming up on Paramount Plus today, on Tuesday. Yeah, on Tuesday.
Good.
Right after Argentina versus Egypt, join the Golazo match today crew of Chris Whittingham, Mike Grella, Nigel Reo-Coker and Jen Beattie as they recap all the action. Forgotten what day of the week it is, it's okay. They also have you covered with lineups for Switzerland versus Colombia at 3 p.m. We've also got plenty more coverage of the US men's national team at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, when the Call It What You Want crew reacts to last night's result and what's next for the US men's national team. That'll be live on the Golazo America YouTube channel. Then at 6 p.m. Eastern, Golazo Match Night will recap Switzerland versus Colombia, and then at 7 p.m. Eastern, Scoreline takes over. Adam Hunt, Ian Joy and Jen Beattie recap all the action of the round of 16. Okay, everyone, it's time for the Enterprise on Every Corner, presented by Enterprise. This tournament, every corner kick goal is your chance to win a car. And Colombia fans were around every corner of the team's hotel outside Vancouver yesterday as the team prepared to play Switzerland. What scenes we're seeing here.
Some of the best fans in the world.
Yeah.
Colombian fans.
I've experienced a game with them in New Jersey. They were on top of buses, they were going crazy, singing hours before. The passion is unbelievable.
It just fuels you when you're about to play a match as a player and you see that. It's just, oh man, it's exactly what you need.
How can you lose?
Yeah.
And the songs that they have too.
So it's just to give a bit of context with this. So Colombia has taken their show on the road and their party, in terms of the fans, to Mexico. They've taken the show on the road and their fans here in the United States. And now they're taking it one step further up north in Canada.
Oh, wow.
Insane.
That's awesome.
Insane. So that's Colombia versus Switzerland in the round of 16 tonight in the World Cup. Everybody. All right then, everyone, time for a quick break here on Morning Footy. We've got so much more coming up on the other side.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad in my camp.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
this business, we'll bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Well, reigning champions Argentina will go head-to-head with Egypt in the quarterfinals. Argentina got here by getting past Cabo Verde after 120 minutes of action, and Egypt took it to a penalty kick shootout against Australia. Now, Argentina's Leandro Paredes spoke to the media ahead of this matchup, so let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Nosotros queremos siempre dar nuestra mejor versión, como dije cuando terminó el partido. No siempre se puede jugar bien, no siempre se puede dar la imagen que queremos. A veces toca sufrir, otros días sufrimos, pero lo importante era ganar y creo que ganar así también es importante. Entonces, seguramente mañana intentaremos dar la versión que queremos.
So, Lahoud, Argentina have won all 4 of their World Cup games so far. And in the group stage, it didn't feel like the reigning champions were truly tested, the way that we wanted to see them tested. But then in steps Cabo Verde, who took it to extra time for them. It ended up being an own goal for them that helped Argentina get to this point. So how would you assess Argentina's path so far in this World Cup?
Yeah, look, I think there's 2 different conversations. I think it's been Lionel Messi, and then it's been the rest of the team. I'm not going to disrespect any of these countries because on their day in their federations, they can give anyone a game. But when we look at the body of work, if you would have told anyone coming into the World Cup that their toughest game was going to be Cabo Verde, they would have said, what's in your mate? And I would have asked, what's in your mate? Maybe Nico Cantor can answer that question for those fans. But you've seen this slow progression of Messi pushing towards greatness. And he already is the greatest player of all time and extending his greatness. But for Argentina, and if you ask Argentine fans, there was a sense of relief, exhaustion, disbelief at what they saw. And I'm a firm believer that sometimes you can learn your best lessons, not just when your opponent gives you the best game that you faced in a long time, but learning some of the lessons even through winning. And there's an intensity. There's also this bulldog mentality that they've had that's led them to success, winning Copa Americas, winning the World Cup. They need to retain that because if they come out with this killer instinct, with this we are together, with this sense of we are the top dogs, but also respecting that they have to bring the intangibles, they can beat anyone in the world.
Yeah.
So I favor them in this match against Egypt. They just have to get the rest of the team playing like they're the best players.
Yeah, I favor them too, but man, they suffered against Cabo Verde. I think everybody thought we were going to have a big shocker there, but
stressed.
But they did, but they figured it out. They figured it out. Dibu Martinez in goal, no surprise there. He was impressed by Cabo Verde's second goal. It was an absolute golazo. There was nothing he can do there, but he always provides that personality for Argentina. Martinez here, he's going to have a lot of work today in that back line, but he was also very important in putting Argentina up in that extra time, that early goal in extra time. It was absolutely huge. Paredes gets to start today. We heard him talk there. I think he's going to be very important. De Paul loves to shift on that right side. We're going to talk about Messi in a bit, but this midfield, it's very dynamic. It's very fluid. It's not positional. It's more about the relationships that they build. They like to overload that middle channel. But I think because of that fluidity and that freedom that they have, it could be dangerous on the counter. It is dangerous when they're defensive. It seems like since they haven't been really tested defensively, they don't really understand their roles, their individual responsibilities. We'll see how they adjust there. And then up top, Messi. I mean,
what else is there to say?
What else is there to say?
7 goals?
Seven goals at his age. Just what he's doing is phenomenal. He is the player that walks the most, that has walked the most in this World Cup. But it's because he doesn't need to run. He doesn't need to move much. He's always just thinking he's 3 steps ahead. His soccer IQ there's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. He's reading the players. He's reading when the lines are going to drop. He's reading when those He's reading when those half spaces are going to open up, and this is why he is the most impactful player that there is at this World Cup.
Yeah. So when you look at the other side of this matchup, Lahoud, what are we going to be seeing from Egypt and their starting lineup?
Yeah, look, Egypt is playing in the round of 16 for the first time in 92 years. So there's this sense of playing with the house money. But the Egyptian national team are also going to be playing for their own version of Lionel Messi in the version of Mohamed Salah. It's been reported that Mohamed Salah will be playing in his last major international tournament coming up, whether it's the World Cup or the Africa Cup of Nations. He's not getting any younger, so I want to see more Mohamed Salah, and maybe I want to see an upset. But this Egyptian side, Shabour, has been a good shot stopper, but it's about giving up rebounds, or maybe not giving up rebounds, and getting the best out of Rabia. Rabia has been one of the unsung heroes of this back line. I think he will have to be the leader that we've seen him be for the Egyptian national team through qualifiers. And Mohamed Hani, if you watched the Club World Cup this past summer, you will know him from Al Ahly. But I want to give some flowers, not to Imam Ashur, who I'll do a deep dive on, but Haitham Hassan is a player that I covered with Scoreline for Oviedo. He was born in the Parisian suburbs. He's a dual national, played for the French under-20 national team, and got recruited by the Egyptian national team. So it just shows that this diaspora of Africans is not just a West African thing. It's not just a Moroccan thing. It's becoming an Egyptian thing as well.
Yeah. So let's talk about then that left side that we'll be seeing for Egypt, Imam Ashur. What can we expect to see from him?
He's become such a difference maker. I love his work ethic, but I also love his intelligence and positioning. He's getting goals because so much attention is paid to Mohamed Salah. And with that, Mohamed Salah has become so wise, and he's going to drag some of these players, some of his teammates from Liverpool, you think of Alexis McAllister as well, are going to hone in on him. And what Ashur gives you is he's got such a quick release, he's got a powerful shot, but his positioning is what you need to keep an eye on. You look at some of the heat map and some of the positions he takes up. He can play, he's versatile. He can play anywhere in and around this midfield area. And when Egypt are at their best, there's this interchange. You talk about fluidity. They're very fluid. Sometimes for Egypt, the thing that I hope they show is that they sense this sense of belief about them. They play like a team that is a formidable side. They just have to put that and execute it on the pitch.
So you guys broke down what we'll be seeing from either side. But Janelli, when you take a look at both of these projected or these starting 11s going against each other, what are some of the matchups that you're truly looking at in this game?
And the biggest thing is, how does that back line and the holding mids, how do they take care of Messi? I think it's not an individual matchup here. I think you cannot individually mark Messi. It takes a team. It takes a unit. So it's going to be interesting to see how Egypt handles that.
Yeah, for me, I'm looking at the midfield for Argentina. Alexis McAllister, he's not a defensive midfielder. And if you're Andoni Iraola, listen to me. This is the only time I ask you to listen to me. Don't ever put him at the 6. It doesn't work. Zico coming in for Omar Marmoush, that is also big. It tells me that Egypt are going to suffocate that midfield, that middle of the park, and try to outnumber this Argentine midfield. If you can win the midfield, then you have maybe a prayer and a candle to stop Messi in Argentina.
All right, well, we are so close to seeing how this matchup plays out, but for right now, we are going to take a quick break here. Much more Morning Footy 48 Nations coverage coming up.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
I look crazy. It's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others, but they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad in my camp.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Morning Footy at 48 Nations, everybody. The whole crew is here. We've got buckets in because you're going to be giving us your best bets.
How tall he is, by the way.
I know.
Jeez.
You are really tall, Buckets. How was your day yesterday? Talk to us about your bets that you put on yesterday.
Oh, the bets.
Yeah.
The Spain game was, what's the opposite of really, really good? Because the Spain game...
Really bad.
Really bad.
Malo.
Spain game was...
You're good, Hannah.
Malo? Is that what it is?
Malo.
Spain
Muy
was malo. Spain was muy malo. 0-3 for me on the Spain game. And we already talked about that yesterday, so I'm glad that I get to talk about my
Thanks for bringing it up, Hannah.
Talk to them about your US bets.
Oh, USA was awesome.
Hey.
Minus
USA wasn't awesome.
wasn't awesome. We had Leandro Trossard to score or assist. That was plus 180. It hit and it keeps hitting every single game.
You bet against the United States.
I didn't say Belgium money line. I didn't say Belgium to advance. I simply took players that I thought were good enough to score against USA, and we ended up being correct about that.
No emotions.
We all said both teams to score in over 2.5 goals, so that's, again, not picking a side, but we're happy with that. Did miss Doku to get a shot on target because he didn't start, and that's a bit of a tough one. But we've also got bets to talk about today as well.
Yeah,
so
we have. So what have you got for us? Talk to us.
Looking at this Argentina versus Egypt match, a very tough one for me to predict because Cabo Verde, it kind of messed with the betting lines. People are now going, wait a second, are Argentina... I don't think that's a bad thing for them. I think that's going to wake them up and they're going to play much better, much more compact, much more defensive now. Going with the same game parlay of Argentina over 1.5 total goals. So Argentina, 2 or more in this game. Probably that with Messi to get a goal at plus 120. Getting plus odds for something that has happened every single World Cup game so far.
Wow.
And I don't trust Egypt's back line. I think that Argentina are going to overwhelm them, especially after hearing everyone chat in the news about how Cape Verde's better than Argentina. I just think this is kind of the shut everyone up kind of match for them. Win this, 3-0, clinical, move on to the next one.
Nice. We like
Good
this.
odds, yeah.
Nice, good odds.
And Switzerland versus Colombia, this is going to be controversial because Colombia have been incredible defensively. No goals conceded over their last 3, 1-0, 0-0, 1-0. But Switzerland have played just fun football. As somebody who doesn't always care who wins but likes attack, Switzerland's been amazing. And even without Johan Manzambi, I expect Brelin Bolo, Dan and Doy, I expect these guys to step up and make something happen. So I do expect both teams to find the back of the net at plus 100. And then Brelin Bolo to score assist. It's happened in every single match so far for negative goal contribution. It's plus 160, which is good numbers here. And I think that Switzerland, not saying they're going to advance, I think we see a crazy game here. 2-1, 2-2 either way here. And if Switzerland get 2 goals, you got to believe he's going to be a part of it.
Less risk in your first bet. I like the first one.
Nice. All right,
Good
then.
luck.
Lovely stuff, Buckets. Thanks for all those bets. Great to have you here in studio. And everybody, 26 days down in this World Cup. It's the final match day of the round of 16. We're just getting started here on the Golazo Network. Everybody, do stay tuned.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favourites, plus huge event